Good morning, everybody. It's Bob Phibbs, the Retail Doc. Today is Sunday, May 31st, the end of May, and I'm glad you joined me here live. I'm streaming both on Facebook today and on LinkedIn. So if you're just joining in, I would appreciate you putting in the comment bar where you're joining me from and what do you sell? That's always good. And the first one gets a special prize. So I'll look forward to your comments here shortly. So as you know, I do my Facebook Live every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. I've been doing these for, my goodness, over 3 years. And that's only if I get enough questions on Saturday. And I got enough questions. I'm waiting to see how many people join in. Give me some comments. Let me know you're there. That would be great. There we go, Joanne. Hey.
All right.
See, there's your special welcome. So thanks for joining in. And I know I've got lots of you, and throughout I may be getting some internet trolls today because I woke up and I don't know how anyone can not wake up in America today and realize the elephant in the room is race relations. 75 U.S. cities were on curfew last night due to riots in the wake of George Floyd's death. My education from my dad, he was a civil rights pioneer in Toledo, Ohio, back in the 60s. I won't bore you with my story. This is not about me, but he worked tirelessly to make sure that the world was a better place. And as a result, he lost his family and his friends and his profession, et cetera. And when I asked him one time back in the 90s, was it all worth it? And he said, no, because things haven't really changed. And I talked to him the night that Obama got elected, and he says, I guess I had some part in this. That's worth it. And I wonder what we've really accomplished in 60 years to look at this. You know, understanding things from somebody else's perspective takes a little bit. And one example for me was I went to a fundraiser for Sheila Kuehl. You might remember her. She was Zelda in Dobie Gillis, those of you who are of a certain age, like I was when TV was 3 channels in black and white. And she was talking about the bias of gender versus men versus women. And I was like, what is this? What is she talking about? And she said, it all starts at birth. Oh, it's a boy. Oh, it's a girl. And I was like, wow, I never really thought of that. But then you listen to the way people talk, and it was like, wow. And my pastor back in Long Beach, California, Mary Ellen Kilsby, who is no longer with us, she talked about how in the 70s, she was very clueless about the women's movement. And she said, you know, I was in the middle of this group where there's like 100 women, and I stood up. I don't know what all your problem is. My husband lets me do whatever I want. And she realized that, wow, I have to do some research. And I would encourage all of you to realize we have more in common with other people. And it's up to us to make the world a better place. And it's not going to help by saying they versus me. We are in a moment of we, not me, if we want to have any semblance of order in the world and have a better world. And that's what I think we're all working for, is a Star Trek world where we're beaming around and, you know, we're living a better life and doing better things. So I hope that that's the way it is. And I'm sure I'll get some trolls on here too, but hopefully not. And I will talk further about that. I have another point in there as well, but I didn't want to start off and get too far into it without just acknowledging that this is what we are all grieving through. We're all going through in the middle of a pandemic and economic crisis. And suddenly these things that are rearing their heads up again are kind of like, you know, I read a book back in the when I was in college, and this guy talked about how as a civilization, things that we don't like, we typically just flush down the toilet. And the problem is that the more we do that, eventually the plumbing backs up and we look around like, where did all this come from when it had all been around us? And so I would encourage all of you to be the rational voice and to be the ones saying we have to find a way to open a dialogue. We have much more in common with everybody than we may initially feel. So quick shout outs. Thanks for joining me, Nancy, Tammy, glad you're here today. Mary, glad you're joining me. Hey, from Fort Myers, Florida, and LinkedIn. Nice. Thanks very much. Good morning, Haley. I never know Haley with 2 L's. I think it's Haley. Selling clothing accessories. Hey, David from Nova Scotia. Leslie, glad you're here from Northbrook, Illinois. Cristiani from Brazil, glad you're here today. Awesome. Robin from Frederick, Maryland. Good morning. A small women's fashion boutique. Qatar is here with us today. Gary, good deal. Miami, a lot of us. Ron, good morning from New York. So awesome. I'm glad you're all joining me. and would love to have you let me know as well. And as you like what I have to say or you find value in it, please make sure that you give me some thumbs up and some love, because that's the only way Facebook works. It doesn't work on somebody just watching. It needs to know that somebody actually took action. So if you would do that for me, that would be great. Lisa says, let's get to your questions. Oh, and good morning, Andre from South Africa. Glad you're here. Lisa, after 32 years as a brick and mortar business operating 6 days a week with one late evening, I've survived COVID by taking orders online and through emails and phone calls. Sounds like most of us. More and more inventory is going on the online store, even with the first phase of reopening New York. I sense people are going to continue with online orders and curbside pickup. Is retail ever going to be the same? Are we truly looking at online shopping as the future? Is brick and mortar going to survive? Lisa, I can tell you that I don't think anybody knows the answer to that, but I can tell you that there are a lot of pundits who want to say that digital is the only way forward. And if digital was the only way forward, and they like to keep telling us how, oh, everybody was online, the reality was, look that at online, even though Walmart and Target and some of the others posted, increases over the previous year, they weren't enough to really make up retail sales, which is why they took such a big tank in April, and I'm sure we'll see in May as well. So this idea that we all want to do grocery shopping online, I don't. I've tried Instacart. Maybe you found it fun, but trying to find a time and then the substitution thing and then having my groceries come and it's not, I like my bananas a certain type of ripeness. I don't think that's going to change. And as far as brick and mortars go, here's the difference. People go into a store to discover something new. People go online to buy. And I've used this analogy an awful lot, but you get it one more time. Actually, I won't even use this. So my printer is an HP, so it needs a cartridge 54. Am I going to go and get in my car through traffic and try to find that and go into a Staples or someone has a little scrunchie because they're all locked up because I guess people steal them and unlock the case so that I have the joy of purchasing of that? Probably not, unless I'm on a big project. I need it today. For that, I'm probably going to go online because they make it easy and I don't need to discover anything. But here's the danger for brick and mortar retailers. If I decide to go into your office supply store because I need that HP 54, and you think I'm only there for the HP 54, you are going to settle for crumbs instead of the whole feast. Because retail, brick and mortar retail, is about discovery. That's what the great merchants like Harry Rosen, like Tiffany's, like Nordstrom, there's an awful lot of them that use merchandising to be able to capture your eye in a different way and ultimately to get you to buy more than you first came in on. But it's not making you buy. The reason you went in there was, I want something, I just don't know what it is, right? So I believe brick and mortar is going to be around for quite a long time. Yes, there's going to be some digital tools that will enable it. But yes, the experts saying that all anyone wants to do is buy online, I just don't think that has legs. And one quick story, which I may not have said to this audience before, but if I did, you'll indulge me. It's my show. When I was the CMO of a coffee franchise, and if you're ever seen Weeds on Showtime with Mary Louise Parker, we were the coffee house she's always drinking her coffee out of. And by the way, that's a great thing to have to tell your franchisees. It's great branding because we're on TV. It's like, but it's about a mom selling pot. I know. Yeah, that was not a good time. But in any event, we would tell people in January, make sure you cut your bakery down in half. And the third week, you need to double it. So invariably, the first week of January, you get calls. Oh, hey, our bakery's going stale. Yeah, we told you that. And then the third week, hey, we're running out of bakery. Yeah, we told you that. Because humans are predictable. In 1919, we're in the middle of the Spanish flu. 675,000 Americans died in that time. And we were told shopping would change and housing would change forever. And a year later, we're in speakeasies in the middle of the prohibition, drinking and laughing it up. So I think human behavior is pretty malleable, but I think we want to get back to our routines. And while everybody wants to say no one will work in New York and no one will be downtown and no one will be, I just don't believe that, because where's your evidence? Yes, we're going to be having a tough time. A lot of our bigger brands are going to go Chapter 11. And what Chapter 11 is different than the other one is that you can reorganize and it gives you cover to cut out maybe half of your stores that aren't making money. JCPenney's has a lot of stores that actually make a lot of money. And that's why they sold 11 billion with a B last year. So when people tell me, oh, JCPenney, failed brand, no one goes there. 11 billion, someone's going there. And so the idea to pile on and no one's ever going on brick and mortar. If you look closer, you see that it's usually somebody who is pushing a digital narrative because, oh, they do online fulfillment or they sell this or they have that. And there's not a lot of people rallying brick and mortar, which is why I have said to all of you who watch this and who read my blog, which you're not familiar, it's retaildoc.com/blog, is that you have to get your message out right now, because it will be very easy for the media to go through and go into these places who've gone through rioting and horrible things and say, oh, look at this sad story. And you need to be out there and tell a story of, we're getting open again and we're doing all of these other things. You're doing digital initiatives, you're shopping with social, you're doing curbside, I don't care, with a smile. Then you're going to end up being able to help control the dialogue that retail is about putting the pieces back together in our lives. That's why people walk into a store. They just got married. They just got divorced. They just had a kid. They just moved to town. Whatever it is, that's why we go into a brick and mortar store with hope. And you better match it. That was a little bit of a rant there. So there you go. Let's see. So do I believe that brick and mortar is going to survive? Absolutely. Susan, what are your top 3 customer engagement greetings? Susan, there's only one thing you say, which is good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and then shut the hell up. That's simple. Don't care how you are. Don't care if it's your first time in your store. Don't care that they're looking for anything particular. Don't care how they're doing. None of that. There's only one, which is why I have Sales RX, my online retail sales training program, which several of you who follow me are on right now, where I unpack exactly how to greet a shopper, get them to lower their guard, build trust, develop rapport, to basically find out what they need, but more importantly, find out what they want, get them to see more than they wanted when they came in, and to ultimately make the sale. So there's only one way to greet that. There you go. Barb, how do you sell wearing a face mask? How do you sell wearing a face mask and from 6 foot social distancing space from your customer? Barb, you figure it out. It's that simple. If you have to use a whiteboard and you have to write something out, but the key is you have to remember, you have to make shopping fun. And so if you're going to be staying back 6 feet, it's like, oh my God, 6 feet, that's going to be tough. And as in New Zealand, I did a speech, and it was a big auditorium, and we're about to begin, and the entire front half is empty. So that's very odd for a speaker. Everybody is lined up all the way up from the middle to the back. And I turned to the client and I said, so are we waiting for some buses to arrive? She goes, no, what do you mean? And I said, well, there's nobody here in the front. She goes, no, that would be cheeky. I was like, oh my God. So I had to overproject over about 40 rows of a big auditorium to reach those people in the back, and you just figure it out. So let's get out of this. In fact, some of you had so many questions I'm asked. Just get over this. We're in the short term. We have to figure it out. Okay, so figure it out. But don't say that I can't or it's hard. It is hard. We have to figure it out. There you go. And I can't tell you what works for me, Barb. I mean, I told you what I would do. But ultimately, you've got to solve this, and you've got to be able to have fun with it, because shopping is supposed to be joyful. I don't want to come into a medical center and everyone's in masks and gloves and feel terrible about it. Gary, I love the rants. Sharon, greeting rant. That's pretty funny. Cecile, tell this to the retail training executives. Cecile, we've just taken on 6 new Sales RX users in the last, 7 new clients in the last 6 days, one of them with 2,300 users. And I can tell you that the smart retailers are realizing that the way forward is to do a better job at customer engagement. And we saw this after 2008, that and I was looking for the chart today, because I actually am making a video for my newsletter tonight, so you should check in on that. It's 15 minutes. And they were going through, dang it, lost my train of thought. Yeah. Oh, right, laggards. So after 2008, when it crashed, they did a survey and found that those retail brands that went through and put the customer at the center outperformed the market, and those that didn't actually lagged, and actually are some of the casualties you're seeing in the world right now. The way forward for all of us is to be more human in an increasingly technological world. And if I have to be 6 feet away, yeah, it's going to be tougher. Well, figure the damn thing out, but don't think it's somebody else. It's going to come down to you. So there you go. Warsito says on LinkedIn, I'm in Indonesia. We're just thinking about new normal for department stores, which is non-essential market. What do you think the future of physical retail for such departments running our business instead of online? So, Rosito, I think I've already answered that. Go back. You might have joined me a little bit later, but brick and mortar will survive. But I'll tell you, the old asked and answered retail is dead. Hi, do you have, can I help you with something? Yeah, do you have this pen with writing on it? Yeah, it's right over there. Anything else? No, that's dead. And if that's what you want to keep doing your business, good luck to you, because you're going to starve. You want to go in, hey, how you doing today? And that's your greeting. Great. You're probably going to starve because most people aren't going to respond to that. Or worse, hi, how are you today? Oh, my mom was sick with COVID. Oh, really? What did she die? Well, no, but she was really sick for like 6 months. It was horrible. Really? And now you have this death and dying. You're probably going to have a tough time. There's a million ways you're going to have a tough time if you don't change. And if you want to join me on Sales RX and actually put the damn work in, it's not a matter of even buying it. The buying it starts at $195 for 5 users a month. And then doing it, right? Because there's people who buy it and then never use it. Like, oh, I bought it. It's like buying the diet book. Oh, I want to lose weight. Yeah, well, until you actually open it, it's not going to help you. But more importantly, opening it doesn't make the difference. It's actually using it. So there you go. All right, that was a mini rant for some of you around the world. There you go. Yeah, well, Cecile, I don't think you've ever been on my training program. You've been in retail for 22 years, and the training programs are cheesy. I guarantee you, when I have 84% of my users report a double-digit increase with 6 months, and we're training 10,000 people around the world, I can tell you pretty much you've never seen my training, which is interactive, and it's based on someone who actually knows how to sell, someone who gives a damn about selling, someone who cares about brick and mortar retail, and more importantly, all I care about is you being the best of you, bringing the best of you into the sale instead of checking out when you walk in the door or putting on the mask and going and hiding behind the counter with your digital app because it can go and tell you have a 9D in the back and not even interacting with the individual in front. You want to lose money? Then just use your technology to do less with customers. You want to make money? Take that technology and say, how do we do even more? A little bit of a rant for you. There you go. All right. I've already said that. Jack says, what steps would you take to inspire confidence to shop, help lay aside fears, and keep retail team going for a full shift in this environment? Sales RX. Jack, I have 120 lessons. 20 of them are all about dealing with COVID-19, pivoting conversations, social media, how the greeting has to change, how the building rapport has to change, except what hasn't changed is being brilliant on the basics. How do you deliver in a process? You would never go to a movie where the character ends up, it starts off with the husband and wife meeting, and then there's a conflict with the dad, and everything is in flashback showing they hated each other in the beginning, and that's where you walked out the door. You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't read a book. Everything has a process, just like ball games, just like anything. There's a beginning, middle, and end, and that's what a sale has. And when you just start off with, can I help you find something? You've cut off the first third, which is where the money is, which is building rapport and building trust. So there you go. Kelly, I have all my Christmas orders shipping here in just a few months. Should I be canceling them? I'm not you, Kelly. I don't know what you've ordered. I think that we are seeing that the new hedonism that I predicted 2 months ago is starting to take hold, that people are being less focused on price. Again, 40 million Americans are out of work right now, so that's not going to be all, but it mightn't be your trading area. And so I would certainly say you want to be leaner than fuller this year, and I imagine your vendors want the same thing, so I would be talking to them to do that. Lori, I saw so many of our Main Street business owners who are just used to opening the doors suffer. Following you all these years, it's truly prepared me. We even took on some small and free remodeling of the store, although there's one area that could use more light. See, that's great, Lori. That's what we want to hear is hope. That's awesome. That's great. Ashok asked on LinkedIn, maybe e-com will replace a bit, but consumption should remain at almost the same level. The size of each purchase should get bigger. That's exactly right. The size of each purchase should get bigger because there's going to be less people walking in the door for the roughly next 2 to 3 months we're fully expecting. It's a soft time for retail anyway. Question is back to school, unless we know we're opening schools, is back to school going to be an event? But you do have to get more out of the people that come in. Absolutely. Barb says, how about welcome? How can I make you happy today? If you said that to me, I'd say you can't, and I would walk by. because I don't know how you can make me happy. Give me $1 million. You don't want to ask anything that requires a response in a greeting. That's why you say good morning. People don't say no. They just don't do that. Most people will say thank you and they will go into it. And if you got sales or X, you would understand that. So there you go. Gary Burns, sales or X, need to purchase to get on board. Dude, why the hell aren't you? What are you waiting for? Are you waiting for it to get worse? Are you waiting for consumers to be more in need of you caring for them instead of asked and answered retail? I'm not sure. So there you go. Fritz, we're grossly underpaid and overworked. Well, you know what, Fritz? Let's just deal with that. I worked in retail I put myself through college in retail working at under $2 an hour and commission. And you know what? I was grateful for whatever the hell I did. And I hired grown men at not much more than that and commission. Granted, we're talking back in the 80s, but regardless, if that's your attitude, we're overworked and underpaid, why the hell are you doing it? Then quit it and go find something else. Go learn how to program or do something else, but do not sit there and say, oh, I have no other choice. You have a choice. Every day you have a choice. I have a choice to get up and say, I'm going to be hopeful or life sucks. That's my choice. I go to work and say, I hate these people. I hate my customers. And you know what? It comes true. If I come in and I say, you know what? I'm going to like today and I'm going to look forward to it and I'm going to find something good, even if I'm having to do multiple things. And you know what? The day goes pretty quick. So you decide, is it a will issue or a skill issue? I would venture to say we're talking a will issue. There you go. Another little rant. Seems to be a rant day, those of you. If you like anything I have to say, give me some thumbs up. Give me some love. I think on the LinkedIn platform, you have to actually applaud or something. It's using that. So there you go. And I will take a look through your questions. There's so many. Gary, funny. Yes, give me millions. Exactly. Roberta, many of our customers are responding with pleasure. Great. That's excellent. All right. Staff, my staff, Nancy, my staff just says their own version of hi or welcome. If you have any questions, let us know. Yeah, that's really passive aggressive, Nancy, which is why I wouldn't use it. Hi. Hi. What does that say? That's why I say good morning. Set the attitude. Good morning. Nobody says forget it. And letting your staff say whatever the hell they want is more often than not going to be nothing or what can I help you find today? And again, if you have any questions, let us know. If you have any questions, let us know. Who's it on? It's on you. It's on them to sell the merchandise. Oh, as the customer, am I on the schedule today? Am I supposed to know what I want? And I'm supposed to then come to you as the, that picker thing in the bowling alley? No, your job is to build rapport, not stand to the side and expect people to go through to come to you and put down the drawstring like, oh, now I'll talk to you once you know what you want. Silly. Sorry. I'm a little opinionated. This is the first time you're seeing the retail doc. I work with some of the greatest brands in the world for one reason. It's tough out there, and you have to be very clear on your goal is to make the sale and not do what's comfortable for you. It's what ends up making the purchase. That's what we care about. A lot of you are saying, great. Nancy, okay, we don't want to be pushy. Nancy, good morning is not pushy unless I guess I come up to you and good morning. I don't think that's going to happen. All right, so there you go. Two more, and then I'm going to let you go. Penny, what do you think is a fair wage for a manager? Whatever you can afford, and maybe a little bit more than that. A great manager is your running buddy. A great manager sees opportunities you don't. A great manager is not asking your opinion and questions all the time. They're coming to you with answers and solutions. They're saying, I think we should go over here. What do you think? They're helping vet ideas. They're helping you see better. They are your eyes and ears. Hey, this is what's going on with our crew. This is what's going on. I don't think you could pay them enough. If I could pay them 35, 50, 75 grand, great. But is that a fair wage for you if you only have one employee and you're trying to pay them, or it's your friend who you hired? That's very different. Are they a qualified manager that can do what it takes? I don't know. There you go. All right. And top fan Billy asks, many are in fear of losing their business or already have. Tonight's going to be devastating. This was written last night. You may want to address this in the morning somehow. So top fan Billy, I left this to the last because, I was just looking at the wealth of shows on Netflix right now where people are telling their own stories, whether they're black, white, gay, straight, they come from privilege, they don't come from privilege. And we are seeing that the most important thing is to have have somebody be able to look on TV and say, that's me, that's my story. And when I look around at a lot of downtowns of commerce, chambers of commerce, et cetera, do they really look representative of the whole community? Does your downtown associate, have you really gone the next measure to say, this looks like our community? Because I'm a white guy, and unfortunately, white privilege is a real thing that people do not question me about things because of who I am. And so I think we just have to really realize that we are in a we moment that's not in a me moment, and we've got to find a way to get the whole community to talk. And so that's why I would encourage you to just look past the idea of violence and riots and all of that. What's really going on is people aren't being heard and respected and feeling they have power. And so how do we do that? I think it's the people how we work with people in our stores. It's who we actively recruit to make sure that our stores look like our communities, and then making sure that those opportunities are even for people to rise in your organization, because that's kind of it. So there you go. Well, you have a lot of other questions here, and I don't think that I have time to answer all of them, because I think it's saying 600 of you are asking questions between the two sides. So I don't think I can really do all that. I'll take a quick look here. Amber started our online store. Sales have dropped after opening doors. Ideas to promote. So Amber, it's very simple. We are in stormy waters, and everything is going to affect everything. So I think uncertainty in the stock market, in oil, in violence in the cities, all of those things affect. Most important thing is, and this is what I would want for all of you, is to realize you have one chance to make it right. That person that walks in the door is, you can either make their day or you cannot make their day, and concentrate on your four walls and find people who want to make the world a better place and bring community together. And I think you're going to find that you're going to be in a much better place to survive. If you don't want to do that, then I think you're going to have a really rocky time, and you're probably still going to look at employees as disposable, or saying, oh, my employees are trained. I can guarantee you nobody wakes up as a fifth grader and say, when I grow up, I'm going to be a retail salesperson, or I'm going to be a retail manager, I'm going to be a retail boutique owner. They don't do that. And unfortunately, if they did, then they would see the steps. Oh, I have to learn this, I have to learn this, I have to learn marketing and all that. And unfortunately, people, when we get older, decide to open a store and get none of that training. But sometimes, let's be honest, there's some markets, it's almost hard not to sell something, because there's so much money floating around, in times in decades. But right now, we're not in that time. Right now, you don't have the luxury of a negative thought. You don't have the luxury of having somebody on your sales floor that's not 100% there. And you don't have the luxury of having somebody who wants to wing it and do my own thing, because sales is a process that goes A to B to C to D. So Gary, I'm going to look for you, dude. That I want to see you sign up for Sales Arcs today. What the hell are we waiting for? And ultimately, Fritz, I just have to give a shout out to your comment. Appreciate your response. I have a very positive attitude and a successful career. I like your direct advice to people. I work for Signet, and we're just getting squeezed. May have to relocate or move. Is it worth it? Our open stores are crushing it. Exactly, Fritz. We're in the new realm of hedonism. So go with that positive feeling, be able to show that out, and shine your light into other people's lives. But it's up to you. It's up to you to make the world a better place. It is not up to me. I'm here to be your person who is here to help but not hurt. And I appreciate you every Sunday joining me. And again, remember, we can change the world by the people working and shopping in retail if we're dedicated enough to do it. I'm Bob Phibbs, the Retail Doc. Thanks so much for joining me. Bye.